What's up? What's up? What's up? Here with your hosts, Dre and B Rice. And this is What's Poppin' Podcast, Gold Karma, whole lot of podcasts. What's going on?
Going on? What's going on?
Did
It's
you
your
get a chance
co-host.
to watch the fight over the weekend?
I didn't get to watch it live. No,
Oh, so you watched the highlights.
watch the highlights.
Well,
I got.
what do you think about the main fight, Tyson versus Roy Jones?
I mean, it only ended in a draw out of respect to Roy Jones Jr. I mean, Mike Tyson won the fight. I mean, if it was an actual boxing match, like none of those like no knockout rules, I mean, Mike Tyson probably would won. Even it would have been like a unanimous decision on the scorecard, if not a knockout win by Tyson. If he was allowed to like actually hit that nigga.
True. I mean, but it was an exhibition, right? So like by default, they can't judge a winner, right?
Yeah, yeah, but I mean, it's just like Mike Tyson's the wrong motherfucker to have in an exhibition. I think just
Yeah.
based on like his personality and how he speaks and all the training videos.
Hmm.
Like you don't train like that for a play fight. Like when you
Right.
playing with your cousin. Like bro, he was trying to prove some shit. Like nigga, I'm 54 and I can still fight like one of these top heavyweights maybe. That's
Hmm.
actually matters. Like I think that's what that was for Tyson. For Jones, I think he was just getting a little money grab.
Yeah. How much do you think they made from it then?
Tyson made 10 and Roy made 3. That's what
Oh,
they
like
said.
winner gets 10. Well, there's
No,
no.
not winner, not winner. That just like I think that's just like what it was like came down to
What
after the contract and pay-per-view money. Yeah.
is
Like
it? Because when you really think about it, I mean, because then that kind of makes me think like, was it that 10 minutes, 10 10 that 10 mil would be based off of because Tyson was really like the spotlight of the fight. Like he was kind of like the one that really got it pushed to where it's at.
Tyson is the one that is still doing shit in like online
But that
like
doesn't mean that you should just automatically get 7 mil more than the other person. I
it
mean, because it's
should.
an
It's just like
exhibition,
Mayweather. It's just like if you fight Mayweather, who's gonna make more money, win or lose?
right?
Mayweather.
Right.
Why? Because Mayweather's the reason niggas watching the fight.
Watching the fight, right?
Why did we watch the fight? We all watched the fight hoping Mike Tyson knocked that nigga out.
Yeah,
Promise to God.
true
Promise to
that.
God.
True
No
that.
one, no, not one of our fans watching this podcast watched that fight thinking, unless you're like a deep boxing guru motherfucker, was like,
Yeah.
yeah, Roy Jones gonna win that fight. No, the the typical boxing fan was like, I want to see Tyson knock a nigga out. I ain't seen Tyson knock a nigga out since 2005. That's what niggas wanted to see.
They want to see that.
But
I agree. I agree because that's what I wanted to see. I wanted to see somebody get knocked out. You know, and then people were worried about it. But we did actually get to see somebody get knocked out. That boy Nate Robinson,
we did get to see a
which
nigga put to sleep. He
man,
even get knocked out. He put to sleep.
I
That
didn't even
nigga was
know.
slumped.
I didn't
I've
even.
only seen that happen in street fights.
Mm, so a rematch, but
I've
street
only
fight.
seen a nigga get put to sleep. I've only seen a nigga get put to sleep like Nate Robinson got put to sleep in a street fight. I've never seen a nigga get knocked out like that
Right.
in a boxing match. I've seen a nigga get knocked out, but it didn't look like that. It didn't, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Do you think he just wasn't prepared? Because I feel like that like Jake Paul, like there was videos of Jake Paul like actually out there like boxing, like he was training for this fight.
Jake Paul
I
is
didn't see Nate Robinson. I didn't even know Nate Robinson was fighting until I turned on the until I
I
saw
didn't either. Swear to God, I didn't either. Swear to God, I didn't either. Let me. I'll give you my take on this. Two takes. One's about Nate Robinson. One's about Jake Paul. First take is Nate Robinson is the one that is still doing shit in
Nate Robinson.
The
I mean,
YouTuber, right? That
yeah.
was his first mindset. Promise you. Second mindset, as racist, this is that like flip side of racism a little bit. Oh, I'm black, that nigga's white, I'm gonna knock that nigga out. Every black person thinks a white person can't beat him in a fight. I promise you. They think that. It's just that I don't know. Is that bro? It was every black person think that like bro. When a white person KOs a black person, niggas like damn, bro, you got KO'd by that white dude, bro. For why, nigga? There's some white people that got some hands, bro. Like you know what I'm saying? And there are plenty of black people who cannot fight, but like for whatever reason, because society has deemed black people the super predator, this alpha male, we like white people ain't supposed to be able to knock us out. And Nate Robinson probably thought about that too. Like he ain't gonna knock me out. Like I don't gotta train like that. His mistake was Jake Paul is a millionaire. He trains. He can train with the best people. He can spend all day training. He can spend all day boxing, learning the craft, perfecting the craft with the best trainers, with the best nutritionists, with the best chefs. Right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what $20 million of YouTube money can buy you. Like Jake Paul, I want to see Jake Paul fight a decent boxer, like a nigga who's like 5-0 in professional boxing, like that was on like
Well,
an
he called
undercard
out.
of like a.
Didn't he just call out? He called out McGregor, Conor McGregor, and
He
or
can't
Canelo.
call out
Canelo.
top niggas like that. He can't do that.
Is it for
Just
clout?
because
He's
Jake,
trolling. He's
just
trolling.
because Jake Paul is famous on the YouTube world doesn't give him that right to call out these top fighters, in
Then
my
he's just
opinion.
trolling, right? Is he just trolling?
Yeah,
But then, because he knows whatever he says is gonna
McGregor,
be taken on the
McGregor's
internet. Is gonna whatever he says is gonna be taken on the internet and like like they're gonna go with it, and then it just creates
they're
like
gonna spin it.
they're gonna spin it, and so like just him saying
He
it,
called out. Can I say something? I don't
yeah.
mean to interrupt you. Let me say something. He called out Mayweather. He was supposed to fight Mayweather. Like that was in the works
Hmm.
for him to box Mayweather.
I remember hearing about that.
What?
Yeah, yeah.
What?
Maybe it was just for the
Mayweather's
yeah,
only doing Mayweather's only doing that for the little check and to embarrass this clown.
and to embarrass him. Yeah, yeah.
Like Jake Paul, fight a nigga who's 5-0 that was on the undercard of like a top ranked boxing card on ESPN. If you beat that dude, then fight a dude who's like 17-2 or
Hmm.
something, who was like a contender for one of these belts. And then if you beat that dude, then we can talk about you fighting like Manny Pacquiao or like, you know what I mean? Then you have my respect in like the actual sport of boxing. But until then, you just trying to get that cash grab. Cause we're gonna watch it. We gonna if Jake Paul fought Conor McGregor tomorrow, nigga, we all buying that pay-per-view.
Hmm.
And then you and me are doing our next podcast episode about
Right. All right. Well,
it.
I
But
like that. All right. So let's move on. Let's move on.
let's move.
So the Grammys nominees have come out, and for best rap album, there's been a lot of people not very happy about the people that were nominated for best rap album because of just like the impact of what other rappers have had over the last year. They just tend to think that the Grammys aren't getting it right. So what do you think? I want to know what you think of. Do you think the Grammys got it right this year for best rap album nominees?
I'm gonna keep it short, then I'm gonna toss it back to you. No, they didn't get it right. What do you think? Because I want to hear your opinion on it.
um I don't think they got it right, but once I had to go and play the albums. I saw
Facts.
the list and I was surprised. It's I saw D Smoke on there. I saw Royce the 5'9", Jay Electronica, Freddie Gibbs, and
Nas.
Nas. Yeah, that's what it was. Um, it threw me off a little bit because of the I didn't understand like where they're getting their like information from. Like
Yeah.
who's the people in this group that sits in this room and decides like who's gonna be the best, who's gonna
And
be
what's the
nominated for best rap
criteria?
album,
What's the criteria?
and what's the criteria? Yeah,
Right?
right,
for all the hip hop awards, right?
right,
What's the criteria?
right. So
Um,
going into, do I feel if they got it right? I got I'm somewhere stuck in the middle because once I went and listened to the albums, they actually weren't that bad, but they all had a something in common. They're all what, that more conscious
I think I
rap,
know what you're about to say.
conscious rap. It's conscious rap, and it's like woke. It's like it's
Can I
almost
take it a
like,
step farther?
yeah,
It's like that black
black
woke
empowerment,
shit.
black
That
empowerment
black that
movement.
like every one of those albums, maybe minus Freddie Gibbs, but even Freddie Gibbs had a song or two
Yeah,
that was debatably maybe his best song on the album.
right.
Was that black empowerment shit,
Yep.
and and so I think the Grammys was like, okay, it's 2020, black people pissed.
Yeah.
They try to do this to make black people happy, but they don't understand that black people don't even listen to that type of hip hop music. We just want the niggas we want the people we listen
We
to
want
win
the,
a
yeah,
Grammy.
yeah, yeah, and I 100%, I agree with you somewhat. I mean, I don't want to blame the Grammys. I want to say that they're just trying to like make black people happy by putting those in the for those being nominated, because it does kind of, it does start to make you kind of like raise eyebrows and like think that way, that it could be they just trying to make us happy. I don't want to believe
Can
that
I say
though,
one?
because I don't want to think the Grammys are that petty to be like, shut up niggas, look, here's like, we gonna nominate these, like stop talking shit about us, like, you know what I mean. I think
well, look,
like, that's why I said I want to know who the people that are in that room, um like when they're deciding, because I want to know, like, do they got people in there like what, Dr. Umar, you know what I mean? Like that one dude, or you
yeah,
know, or like they got people in there like Killer
it's
Mike.
like Ben Carlson. Is Ben Carlson in that shit?
Yeah, yeah, you know what I mean. Like who's in there talking about like the rap albums? Because I feel like that like rap is very broad now, and it's becoming more broad like over the years. So again, like you said, like what's the criteria? Um, I think, to mention Lil Baby, he got snubbed. I think that Lil Baby's album should at least been nominated. I don't know, man. When I think of rap and when I think about whose rap album has dominated over the last year, I think actually Gunna, Little
Ooh,
Baby, and Roddy Rich.
can I? Okay,
Not even yeah, Roddy Rich, but Roddy Rich had it the earlier of the year because of like the box and then the other songs
when he
on that
dropped
album.
his
But
song. Okay, so I'm gonna comment on that. That's awesome. I love that you. Awesome. The Grammys are that petty. They've always been that petty. First take. Um, my second take. I want to know the. I guess I'm gonna bring up the Weeknd because the Weeknd say he got blackballed from the Grammys. They're corrupt.
mhm,
In which way is the Grammys corrupt? In which sense? Like they don't let you know the criteria, or they blackball black artists, because as you and me just talked about, all five of the best hip hop albums are super black empowerment shit, and so they're blackballing black artists. There's no way those albums are getting nominated for the Grammy, right?
right.
So what the Weeknd's saying is like, nigga, I had the second highest first week sale album
Hmm.
behind Juice World, who died RIP. How did I not get nominated for a Grammy? That's what he's saying. I think the Weeknd saying that the Grammy, one of the criteria of the Grammy needs to be the first week album sales. To go back to what you said, I don't think the baby got snubbed because I don't think the baby didn't win the best BET
Lil
award
Baby,
for
Lil Baby.
Lil Baby, not the baby, my bad. Lil Baby. He didn't win the best BET award for best rap album. And
Snub
that's really
too.
the no. not snubbed. And I'm gonna
And
tell
the
you
BET
why.
Awards, the BET Awards is like the next topic. So
Yeah,
we can
it's
segue
that
into that
topic.
too.
We could segue to. I was about to actually.
Go ahead, go
Um,
ahead.
um, he didn't get snubbed for the Grammys or the BET Awards. Well, I don't think he got snubbed for the Grammys because I don't think he got snubbed for the BET Awards, and because I don't, and that's why. Because if anyone got snubbed for the BET Awards and the Grammys, it's no one's had a hotter year than she has chart wise.
Meg the Stallion.
Yeah. And I don't even listen to females music like that, but I made sure I listened to her album because I saw it was nominated, right? I made sure I listened to her Shug album. And bro, she has some hits, bro. She has
Yeah,
some
she do.
hits,
She
some
do some
catchy
hits on there.
songs. The album was the perfect length, song wise, minute wise. Little Baby's album was 21 songs, like mostly him on the same type of beat with the same type of flow. It was, he had some good songs, but I think he had the fourth best album that was nominated in the BET Awards. I I agree when I because I had to listen to Roddy Rich's album and I was like, damn, this shit is actually fire. Like, so I can't say necessarily Megan deserved to win it over it's a little harder to like get awards when you're a female. Maybe she got snubbed in that way, in a sense. So they gave it to Roddy Rich. But I think those albums are like 1, 2, and then I think the Baby's Bop album was better than Little Baby's My Turn.
Mm.
Um, if anything, I don't even think Roddy Rich's album commercially deserved to probably get nominated for a Grammy. I think
Okay.
Megan, out of those nominades, is probably the only one who probably got snubbed Grammy wise.
Was Roddy
Like
Rich.
if we're going like commercial success.
All right. So then let's
Um,
get into that topic, which is Roddy Rich was the best rap album award winner for the BET Awards. And but did not get nominated for a Grammy for this year. So how does that
you know,
how do you feel about that?
like
Do
I
you f- do
said,
you f- yeah.
like I said, we had this conversation privately too. The BET Awards is what hip hop artists should care about more. I think personally, because the BET, that whole channel, they really try to be with the black culture. You know what I mean? They really try to represent the culture. You know what I mean? What's going on in the black culture? You know what I mean? What's hot, right? The Grammys is just, it's a little white. You know what I mean? It's a little white, a little mayonnaise on your tartar sauce. Yeah, a little tartar sauce. You know, it really man. Yeah.
Okay.
Um, and so I think Roddy Ricch should be happy he won the BET Awards. But like I said, I don't think he had the commercial. Okay, the box is a fucking huge hit, right?
Yeah.
But go look at the songs Megan Thee Stallion had on her Sugar album, bro. Like 4 or 5 of those are songs that like nigga are still hits right now.
Hmm.
Like I think I like commercially, I think Megan had a case that she needed to be nominated. If we're talking about just the albums that were nominated in the BET, like for the BET Awards. Now we're not talking about the other albums that dropped this year yet. But if we're
Hmm.
talking about just those ones, Megan Thee Stallion's album definitely deserved to be nominated for a Grammy. I don't think Roddy Rich had quite the commercial success that the Grammys are looking for. I also said this to you in private. I think Freddie Gibbs is probably as black as the Grammys are willing to go.
Yeah. I agree.
On some
Well, so like
on some nigga shit.
I'm gonna comment on that. What you said too about the you said like the Grammys tend to be a little bit more like watered down with the mayonnaise.
Yeah,
um Well, I guess like the culture around the Grammys isn't like necessarily black, probably, right? Where like the BET Awards, you would hope that, like, it's Black Entertainment Television Awards, so obviously the culture is black. So it's like, yeah, I think I guess what you mean by like which one means more. I guess because it's like it's more like connected to your culture that you would think that they would get it right. And I think the BET Awards, people tend to agree that they get it more right than the Grammys do. And so again, that kind of brings it back to who's in the room deciding like who's going to be nominated for best rap album, because um we don't know what kind of culture they got at the Grammys as opposed to the BET Awards. So it's that's why you can see like maybe why they might not have the correct people in the Grammys that actually listen to rap, all of rap, to be able to like get it correct. And like they might be more into the artists that, like, yeah, they have a lot of the artists that are similar in the nominees is Jay Electronica, Royce the 5'9", and Nas. um and D Smoke. D Smoke is kind of in there because he's kind of like a Kendrick Lamar. Now, like what
Yeah.
you said with like Freddie Gibbs would be that one that it kind of does feel like,
Freddie
yeah,
Gibbs is the dude they
let's
were like,
throw him
look,
in
we need
there.
a nigga. We need a hood nigga that
We need a street
black
dude to
people.
get thrown
We
in
need a
there just to
street
kind of
dude
to even it, because
to
they always do that with the nominees. It's like it'll be like five nominated people. The first four will be like, yeah, and then the last one will be like, hold up, y'all just
yeah,
threw that person in there just for the
yeah.
little, just to say that they got the nominee, like just to make them happy. Hey, you didn't get the award, but hey, at least you got nominated, right? Like,
Yeah, like
don't
you
be
can brag
mad.
about the nominated. Yeah.
But how good is a nominated if you don't win, right? Like I remember what Kanye. I'm not even gonna go into that, but Kanye did say this one time. Kanye West says he doesn't like award shows because it's the only place where you award people by calling them losers. Like you take all the best people and you say like, yeah, your stuff is so great, we're gonna nominate you for a Grammy, but then you still can lose. You know what I mean? It's like the only place where you take like, like people together like that put together successful shit that everyone should be getting an award. If you kind of think about it, if you get nominated for the Grammy, I think you probably just should get the award. But anyways, that's just how Kanye thinks about shit.
That's some
But
participation.
going
That's
back
metal
to
shit.
just to make sure we stay on topic before we go too far, let me bring it back. We're talking about Rowdy Rich and him getting the BET Hip Hop Award as for best rap album, but not even being nominated for the Grammys for best rap album. That's kind of where something's not lining up. How can the BET Awards, like even, you know what I mean, if you're the winner of the BET Awards for best rap album, maybe you should at least at minimum be nominated for the Grammy. Not saying you have to win the Grammys as
I can
well.
hear. I can see your point.
Yeah.
Um, I'm gonna throw some tidbit facts that are interesting because of what the weekend said too about the Grammys. Not none of the five Grammy album nominated albums for best hip hop album may debuted in the top 50 for
Mm,
first week album sales
mm.
in 2020, right? But neither did Rich the Kid's album. I mean, not Rich the Kid's, Roddy Rich's album. Excuse me.
Roddy Rich wasn't in top 50.
Not the top 50. And maybe the list I was looking at, because technically, like I said, his album dropped December 26th. I mean, December 6th, 2019. Maybe the list I was looking at starts January 1st, right?
Right, right.
And so maybe I would have to go look at, you know what I mean? But he wasn't on the 2020 list.
Wow. 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 Yeah, that
So
top 50 list, I guess people will always talk about numbers,
it
people
goes by
numbers
criteria
wise.
though, right? Like what is the criteria to get nominated for a Grammy? right?
Right. Right. The
Because
criteria.
the BET Awards, each of those albums enjoyed a top enjoy other than Roddy Rich's. Like I said, it was probably on the 2009 list that I hadn't looked at. All those albums enjoyed a top 50 first album, you know what I mean, first week album sale in 2020. The BET Award winners.
Mm-hmm.
Each of those albums debuted somewhere in the top 50 for first week album sales.
Yeah. Okay.
So like maybe the BET Awards, like who's the hottest nigga out, who has the best music, and who made the most money the first week. Maybe those are the criteria for the BET Awards, but I don't think anyone knows the criteria for the Grammys.
Yeah.
And I think that's why people get so mad because no one knows. No, like what are like you said, who's in that room making those judgments?
Mm-hmm.
Because clearly they're not going by the list. Clearly that they're not going by the charts for numbers, for money, for sales. So what are they going by?
Right.
They're not going by who had the best songs either because you can't tell me
All right. So
but
let's move on to the next. Let's talk about our favorite albums of the year. Um,
ooh,
Best our favorite rap albums of the year of 2020. We're getting into December of 2020 to where the year is pretty much over. Not many albums get released in December, but they're usually towards the end of December, right before 2021 starts. So I think just over
and
the
that
last,
and then those albums count for 2021
and those usually
anyways
typically right count for, yeah. So over the last year,
next
um,
year.
just some of your favorite rap albums. I'll kind of start. I was kind of like looking at my iTunes every once in a while just to kind of like see like what I've been listening to a lot. And I really like
Yeah.
Lil Baby's album. I really enjoyed Lil Baby's album. I really enjoyed Lil Uzi Vert, his album. Um I think it's Love Is
Which
Rage
one?
2,
Which
or I don't know,
Uzi
I
Vert?
can't remember which one it's called. Um
Yep.
I
Well, he
think
had three
Gunna,
this year, but yeah.
What's it called? It was Wanna by Gunna. That
Yep.
album, I really enjoyed, not even knowing that I was really listening to it that frequently. Like I enjoyed a lot of the joints off of that song. So I was like playing those a lot in rotation. And then I'm like starting to realize like a lot of these songs that I'm playing that's on my playlist, a lot of these are from straight from Gunna's album. Um
Okay.
Two Drake's Dark Lane demo tapes. I guess that's more of a mixtape slash album. I don't really know.
Yeah, I didn't know how to like
Um
judge that one either.
and I want to give my note. Pop Smoke's album was cool. Again, Pop's posthumous album, but most of it was done before he was dead. It's just a thing about me and posthumous albums that I'm not always a big fan of, because I feel like the artist isn't in the room to give the final say, to give the final production of what the album should sound like. So even though I enjoyed Pop Smoke's album, I really enjoyed it. It's just something about it doesn't even sound like it was his album. I keep getting stuck. It sounds like it's 50 Cent's album because 50 Cent was like the executive producer on the album and like was the one that really put it together to finish it up. And I it just kind of took away from Pop Smoke, even though it went number one and it's a great album. It just sounds like it's not what Pop Smoke would have put out himself 100%. Just sounds a little different. One notable mention, I'm gonna throw it to you for your favorite albums of the year. Lil Tecca dropped an album. It's called Virgo World. Sorry, Big Sean dropped a crazy album, Detroit too. Sorry, Big Sean, I forgot to mention that. Anyways, back to Lil Tecca. Virgo World by Lil Tecca was a surprise album to me that I was really surprised like how much I enjoyed it. I think Lil Tecca, his sound, I think he's a little underrated because like maybe it's like the look that he has. He doesn't like people don't really think of Lil Tecca when they think of like real rap, hip hop, raw shit, right? But when it comes to like song making and like just like how like knowing how to make a good song, like Lil Tecca, like he's got like the skill. Like he really does like I can hear it like in that album. It sounded somewhat kind of generic, but it was like a good generic. It's like, damn, I like this. I like how simple this is, and just like the flow of the album just went well. Um, Not too many songs like really stood out like crazy, but he does have a song on there with Lil Durk and with Lil Durk and Polo G. So I mean, I think for even Lil Tecca to get Lil Durk and Polo G on the same track, and it's a pretty good song. Like I mean, I think it's an underrated album. So if anyone, as you guys are watching, if you want an album that you're just like, huh, I didn't even know it would have been that great, and you're just looking for some of those albums, Virgo World by Lil Tecca. But B Rice, let me hear what your favorite albums were from the year.
I'm gonna comment on what that last point, and then I'll throw it to my favorite albums. Yeah, Lil Tech is definitely underrated. That's actually one of the albums I haven't listened to. Believe it or not, I've listened to so many albums, and that's actually one of them I didn't listen to, just because I tried to listen to like a lot of the albums that were in like the top 50 album sales. And his made like 80. His was like 90 something, so it made the top 100. But it was one of them I just didn't listen to. Um, but he's definitely underrated. Um, some of my favorite albums this year probably were I really enjoyed Juice World's Legends Never Die album. I typically feel the same way about um, dead rappers albums like you do. I don't really like listening to them like that. Um, but I'm a little biased because I'm a pretty big Juice World fan. I really enjoy that sound of music in my hip hop sometimes. That I really enjoyed that album, and it also was the highest. It happened to also be the top selling first week album this year, but that might have had to do with the fact that he died. Um, I really enjoyed someone. Everyone knows about Da Baby. A lot of people may not know about Stunner for Vegas, his artist. I really enjoyed his album he dropped, Rich Youngin. Um, it's like, it's pretty hood. It will never get nominated for any award or nothing. But just for some street shit, some shit you want to smoke to, driving your car and like with the windows down shit, I recommend it. Um, I really enjoyed Shout out to Minnesota right here. I really enjoyed Prof's new album too. His latest album that actually debuted. I think it got to number 3 on the hip hop on the rap charts on the Billboard charts. I enjoyed that album. Taking it back to maybe more famous people. I enjoyed Polo G's The Goat. Um, I thought he had the best album actually out of all the Chicago artists that came out with the album this year. Um, Nav, the emergency tsunami. People sleep on Nav. Go listen to that album. And also, that's also a Minnesota thing. A lot of Minnesota producers are on that album too.
Mm,
Actually,
okay.
Frankie Bash. I don't know him personally, but he produces a lot of shit for them and revenue. But he was on that album. But yeah, those are just some of my favorites. Um,
Any notable mentions? Like just like the
Rod
one.
Waves "Pray for Love" is an honorable
Oh,
mention.
okay. I didn't get a chance to listen to that either. So
It's pretty
Rod
good.
Waves album.
Rod Waves' album was pretty good.
Okay.
And I promised my dude, I don't know how you feel about him yet. Tobias is probably the biggest NBA YoungBoy fan. And so I did some NBA YoungBoy number diving, listened to two of his albums. I enjoyed the 38 Baby 2 album. That's an honorable mention. I'll also give him the Stay Trappin', Stay Steppin' album he dropped too. He dropped 4 albums this year, and all 4 debuted somewhere in the top, almost somewhere in the top 30 for first week album sales.
Mm.
So, um, yeah, those are probably some honorable mentions. I say I talk about that, so, but I did like those albums because I'm not an NBA YoungBoy fan, and so
Right.
these albums I had to like sit down and listen to because I don't like these artists, so I had to give a listen for real, and so yeah, some of them I'm actually surprised by that were like they're pretty good.
Right. All right. Well, cool. Well, cool. 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 Well, before we close it out, anything you want to say? You want to tell the people where your Instagram is and your Twitter
Um,
as we close this thing out?
Before we close it out, one take. Who's your rap MVP of 2020? Without thinking, top of your head, who gets the award?
Lil Baby.
Lil Baby.
And Drake is my Lil Baby. I'm just
Drake,
gonna.
Drake. Like so for you, Lil Baby's your Giannis, and Drake's your LeBron. Like Drake could win it every year if he wanted to. Is what
Yeah,
you're
but
saying.
this year, Lil Baby was running it.
But
So
this
it's
year,
just like when you said off the top of the head, the rap MVP off the top of the head without even thinking, Lil Baby. I just got to. It's he had a hell of a year for sure.
and it's crazy because if you would ask me that question, I almost would have to agree with you.
I asked you what's your Instagram and Twitter.
That, I know, but we're closing it out. My bad. Last take. My Instagram is at the real Brandon Rice.
Okay.
Just how it sounds, all lowercase. Um, I'm gonna have to re-amp my Twitter. You can check that out next episode. I give you the
Next
link next
episode.
episode.
Yeah, you got it. We'll work on it. We'll get the Twitter up. My Twitter and my accounts are at MVP since '92, but also at King Icy Hot. So either one you guys want to, I'm on both. But as we get further down the road, things will get all cleaned up. But that's gonna do it. Thank you for listening to the podcast. Go and follow, subscribe, even comment on all the videos. You should be able to get our podcast on Spotify real soon here. So you'll be able to watch our podcast and you can also be able to listen to our podcast. So we can be on all streaming platforms for you guys. See you guys in the next episode.